Start with some um, meditation. And it's just going to be a short meditation. I want to kind of get you into the zone about the theme of today's talk, which is people from the early Buddhist texts. And as I said before, you've got this wonderful book, this biography of the Buddha and his life from the early Buddhist texts. And when we think about the Buddha and the people who we'll be encountering tonight from the early Buddhist texts, from the suttas, from the Vinaya, we're going to be meeting disciples of the Buddha, students of the Buddha. They are just like you. You are also disciples of the Buddha. You are part of a spiritual tradition that goes back 2,500 years of people who have accessed the Buddha's teachings. You're very fortunate beings. You might remember last week the simile of the blind turtle popping its head up once every 100 years and managing to get it through that yoke, that ring. And this is the preciousness of human life, the preciousness of having access to the teachings. Very fortunate indeed. And so when we think about the Buddha, we think of him not only as a teacher, but also as a Kalyana Mitta, as a spiritual friend. And we can think of the kind of spiritual friendship that existed at the time of the Buddha, where poor Ananda, who was always getting in trouble, Ananda was the attendant of the Buddha. He was pretty soft and sweet monk. He's the one, you might remember, some of you, whose incredible memory allowed for the text to be recorded so well orally. He could remember things verbatim. And Ananda once made the mistake of saying to the Buddha, "Oh, isn't it wonderful that friendship is half of the spiritual life?" And the Buddha was like, "Don't say that, Ananda. It's not half of the spiritual life, it's the entire spiritual life." And it's that because it's thanks to spiritual friendship that beings who have been subject to birth, old age, sickness, and death come out of birth, old age, sickness, and death. Those beings who have been suffering experience freedom and happiness. So it's thanks to spiritual friendship that beings can become enlightened. And of course, the Buddha is our number one Kalyana Mitta, our number one friend. And his disciples taught disciples. Those disciples regarded the Buddha's disciples as their Kalyana Mitta, their teacher, their friend. And this lineage, this tradition of sharing the Dharma has continued for thousands of years. My teachers taught me. I'm teaching you. Perhaps you'll teach some others in the future. And in this room, we have a community of friends, people who have come together to share in the Dharma. We are each other's spiritual friends. We are each other's Kalyana Mitta. And there's a reflection that I will share with you tonight as our guided meditation on spiritual friendship. And it goes like this. How fortunate for me, how very fortunate that I am living this holy life, the brahmacharya. So this is, you might just think of it as the spiritual life, but I'm living this spiritual life surrounded by spiritual friends who, out of compassion for me, admonish me so that I can improve in the holy life. And so this is what good friends do. We don't just kind of support you when you are doing good things. We also have to restrain you when you're doing bad things, right? That's a good friend, someone who cares enough about you to be worried about the things that you're doing. And one of the things that we do in the monastic life is we invite our friends to admonish us, to let us know if we can improve. So this is a very beautiful quality of spiritual friendship. I'm not saying that tonight we're going to be admonishing anyone like that, but what I want you to focus on is not the admonishment, but how fortunate we are that we have people who, out of compassion, care about our welfare. And this is something that we can think of in terms of our teachers and the Buddha and anyone who has helped us onto the spiritual path. So we're just going to be generating some gratitude for those people tonight. Do all of you have a teacher, someone that you like? Someone that, hopefully someone that you like? Someone who taught you something? You know, our mothers and fathers are often our first spiritual teachers. Um, I'm really grateful for people like Bhikkhu Bodhi who translated the suttas, and Bhante Sujato, my teacher, who translated the suttas again. And I'm grateful to so many people, especially the person who took me to my first meditation retreat. So all of these spiritual friendships add up to a very fortunate spiritual life for all of us. So we just chill out for like 10 minutes, kind of thinking about this idea. Okay? Let's take a comfortable posture, a comfortable position. And we're just relaxing. You're not going to get enlightened in this next 10 minutes, so you can just let go. Make it easy. Just let go. Close your eyes. Shut down. Feel like that world outside. Just forget about it. Doesn't matter for the next 10 minutes. Just here, comfortable, relaxed, peaceful, calm. So calling to mind our teacher, the Buddha, who out of compassion taught, taught the Dharma, made it understandable so that beings could come out of suffering and attain liberation, could let go of suffering and have happiness. Perhaps you can remember some Dharma teaching you've heard, some words that stuck with you. Maybe you recognize how fortunate you were to hear those words. To have a door open that helps you in your life to walk the spiritual path. Maybe there's some gratitude in your heart towards this spiritual friend who's helped you. You can allow yourself to thank the Buddha for his teachings. Thank you for teaching the Dhamma so that I and other beings may benefit. For showing the way. Perhaps some gratitude for the generations of students of the Buddha, teachers of students, students of teachers, teachers of students, over and over again. This beautiful handing down of knowledge, thousands of years keeping the Dharma alive and pure. These friends of ours, unknown friends, unknown teachers. Thank you. And your own teachers, teachers who have helped you personally, teaching meditation, teaching Dharma, being there for you when you needed them, helping you out of love and compassion for your welfare. Thank you. Allow your heart to feel that gratitude, to be touched by their kindness. These are your spiritual friends. How fortunate you are to have such friends. How very fortunate you are to have friends who care for you, who have kindness and compassion towards you. And how wonderful it is to have so many communities of spiritual friends to be here tonight at the Buddhist library, surrounded by spiritual friends walking this path. Walking this path together. You are not alone. And having experienced such kindness, such compassion, this spiritual friendship, ask yourself, how can I be a spiritual friend to others? How can I be a spiritual friend to others? And as we come towards the end of the meditation, how was it? Just reflecting, reviewing, still with your eyes closed. How was it to think about friendship? Had you thought about friendship through a spiritual lens before? You thought about spiritual friendship? Did anything occur to you during your reflection tonight? Okay, very good. So coming back to the room, surrounded by our spiritual friends, right? So nice.